That's just so that anybody else can join. So thanks for jumping on. And I know it's 9:30; it's a little late, but sometimes it's just good just to get these calls in and keep the momentum going. So I thought tonight we would talk about just a few quick things on creating like curiosity as for potential customers, and then also things that can help us maintain and keep customers excited about the whole keto conversation as well. And then I also was going to talk about the DNA. Remember, Susan, we talked about the DNA at LCD? So I was going to talk about the DNA of being a good prover and different things we can do. But before I get started, does anybody have something that they would like to either discuss tonight or on a future call or something? If it's obviously we could deal with it tonight if it's something quick or just so I could write down to kind of talk about another call. No? Everybody's good? All right. So one of the things that we kind of just touched on a bit at LCD and a bit on Epic, and so I have made a few notes about it, was creating curiosity and realistically not at all ever selling the product through any social media. It's all really about the more creativity, but people do love testimonials. So whether or not it's your testimonial, somebody else's testimonial, that really sinks deeper with somebody than just saying like, drink this and you'll get energy. Because, I mean, they could drink Red Bull and get energy. They don't really understand the whole dynamics of it all. So realistically, oh, hey, Natasha, realistically create, so the testimonials of like, look at this person. And you, even if the person doesn't have a lot of like physical changes, still posting a picture and talking about their journey, right? So whether or not it was anxiety and depression or, you know, like whatever it has that's changed. Maybe they didn't have confidence to do things and now they're drinking ketones and, right, but explaining the story and the journey. So really creating the curiosity through testimonials. So posting pictures of your regular everyday life and why it's so much easier now because of this, and maybe putting like, just like little things like women, we are, not all of us, and it's very stereotypical, but a lot of us like anti-aging, all of those things. So exactly. So really like kind of doing that, like, and just making a fun post about those kind of things, like just all those little things. We were at the mixer tonight and one of the ladies said about how her nails are growing faster and like all these other things she's seeing. So some people want longer nails. So you have no idea that could actually trigger somebody. You know what I mean? Like it seems so little, but it is. They really just mentioned that it's those little things. I know Susan had mentioned something about Alzheimer's and the product helping with it. And that just triggered somebody that's been watching all these posts with ketones. They never put the connection before with Alzheimer's and that. And so that one post is right. So I know I'm a big preacher on videos. Videos are huge. It really does, so that people can see that you're sharing from your heart and not anything else. So obviously you have to do a video that is sharing from your heart, but realistically, so like those things. So that's for Facebook. And then out and about. So when you're out and about, having some type of clothing, it doesn't have to say prove it. It doesn't have to say whatever, but it can be just, yesterday I sent 2 messages to 2 different companies to find out about what the cost would be to get some cool, fun things on shirts, so that it can maybe create a conversation that people, like, keto is my life, and people will be like, what is keto? Like, what, like, just right to create a conversation through wearing something. And then of course our shaker bottles. It's good to have something, right, to kind of always be carrying that around, even if it's water, like don't carry a water bottle, use your thing. Do you have something to comment on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I deposited my first Prove It check at the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I said, this is US funds. And she's like, oh, what is this? And then she asked me about it. And so I started explaining, and she's like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
That's awesome.
So just from the check. And I have a 30-day hold, by the way.
Oh, really? You must have been the best. I'm just joking. It won't be 30.
I just figured I'd add that, okay?
Yeah, no, that's good. But it is true. Like those little things. And, right. So when you're out and about, and so we did touch on this last week, but I really want to make sure we really go and really shrink down that conversation. So the conversation, so Nicole's doing that. Did you get her cell phone number to send the video to her? Shame on you. No, just joking. But honestly, so it's like, right? So just being like, oh my gosh, you know, like we're drinking cellular energy. It's amazing. I can't believe you haven't heard of it. You know, can I get your cell phone and I'll shoot you a 4-minute video? Right? Be short, quick, and get her info.
I'll do that when I deposit my next check.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's your challenge.
Like seriously, those big guys would have been, have you ever drank ketones? Like, let me send you a video. Give me your cell number. Like, that's how they do it. Like, and every time they have a conversation with anybody, they're like all over it.
Right. And it is practice. So you're gonna go late or go, shit, I didn't get the person's cell phone and stuff. But as you keep doing it, you will get better. I promise, like it does, but it's so true. It's like we make the conversation so much more complicated. When you're talking to the banker, don't talk about glucose, blood sugars, like it's cellular energy. I cannot believe you haven't heard about ketones. I need to send you a 4-minute video, right? And just keep it short and sweet. And then you've got her contact. So then next week you can send her like, oh, hey, you know, don't know if you get to watch that video, but here's something else. You know what I mean? Like, and you're keeping that going. But keep it short and sweet, especially for strangers, because if you start puking on them, they are out. Keto, like we know it and we want to share it. And I'm still guilty of spewing, like literally spewing all over them. So I'm trying to get better, but I'm just sharing like what works and what we need to really focus in on. And we're going to do it and we're going to kick ourselves. But as we keep reminding ourselves and doing it, it will get better. So keep it short, keep it simple, but getting out and just talking about it and not having, not holding yourself back. So keeping it short. And so especially even with text messages and this. So if we can all get out of the head space, so I go to Costco. I love the fact that their coconut oil is $20 for a big jug of it instead of $14. I don't know. I'm making up prices, but right. But $14 at Superstore and it's 1/3 of the price. I tell everybody to buy it and I don't get weird. Do you know what I mean? Like all of a sudden when we become promoters and we're making money off of it, we get weird, right? So just share it as if you weren't making any money, right? Does that make sense? Like just really like this is changing your life. You need this product. You need to be drinking this. That if you didn't make $1 and if it was on the Costco shelf, you would share it that way. And that's like, it's taken me a full year to figure this out. So it's like, but it is because I was making it more complicated and I think a lot of us were, but literally think about it. Like that bag of shredded coconuts that you can get at Costco, it's really good. But I tell everybody like, you need to get that as a snack. And I don't think anything of it. Right. So just really start sharing it, right? Like making it short, simple, and don't think about the fact that you might make $12 off that box or whatever. I'm making up an amount, right? But you know what I'm talking about. So once somebody is either interested or they're a customer, we shouldn't be still doing all the talking. So once engaged in whatever matter, whether or not they're like, I'm going to go research the hell out of this, or I am going to order it and drink it, start sending third-party things to them so that it's not you. So there's no right or wrong thing to send as a third-party thing. You have to do it based on that person, okay? So if somebody is an 80-year-old grandmother who's taking it for arthritis and inflammation, we wouldn't send her a Rob DeBoer video. That might freak her out, right? But then if somebody is an athlete and a CrossFitter, I probably wouldn't send the Mary Newport video, right? So really, so you really have to pay attention to who you're sending it to. But I wrote down a few things. So the Dr. Dom video on YouTube on the product, he's the one that formulated it for the Navy SEALs, and now they're doing research into other things. That is a total third party. It's not prove it. It's right. It's really going to help them to understand where the product came from. So at some point during this thing, so it might not be the first one you send them. I'm just putting these in any order. You'll kind of get an idea, and we can chat about this whenever. So the Dr. Dom video on YouTube's awesome. Dr. Heather and Dr. Andy videos on Facebook. Those are really good. So if you're Facebook friends, you can shoot them that and say, oh, I watched this, right? And just tell them to watch it in small times. We're not expecting people to really they spend 35 minutes watching it. Say, you know what, when you're making supper tonight, press play while you're making supper. When you're making coffee in the morning, press play. They can fit it in without it taking any extra time, and they really will find a huge benefit. The Prove a Pulse call. Did anybody listen to the Prove a Pulse call last night? Anybody? No? Okay. The calls are awesome. So last night I did listen to, it's Dr. Heather and Mandy Mitchell. It's really good. It actually worked out really well for me. I was supposed to do a call with somebody who just messaged me and said, this was somebody who didn't know what ketones was, didn't know what ketosis was, anything. She started drinking the product. I slowly encouraged her to lower her carbs. And now she's sending me a message and going I'm just going to do the ketogenic diet and I don't need the supplement. This is crazy. I'm spending this much money. So I said, well, let's get on a call. But then the power went out. Well, Dr. Heather answers that question exactly from Mandy Mitchell. So I sent it to her this morning and I said, hey, Monica, I just, we need to connect today, but I just listened to this. Why don't you listen to this first? And then we'll have a call so I can explain it more. But Dr. Heather's explaining exactly why you need to drink ketones. The diet, it's too hard. It's right. If your metabolism's all messed up from years of stress, all these different things, it makes it so much easier if we can just really connect them with the doctors and stuff, because I think that she'll listen to that and be like, oh yeah, now I need to. Where if she would have heard it from me, she'd be like, that's because Karen's making money off the box. Right? So really bringing it around. The Prove a Pulse calls, literally, honestly, I'm going to tell you guys, just play them when you're making your coffee, when you're making supper. Just get them in 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. They are really good. And I found the last 2 to 3 months, they've really gotten better and deeper. And so this morning, I sent that call to probably 12 people, the call last night, and just said, hey, and most of them are customers that are drinking the product. So just keeping them engaged with that. For newer people, the Keto Basics link. Does everybody know what I mean when I say the Keto Basics link? Okay. So the Keto Basics link is really good for somebody who's either hasn't tried a 5-day or they're on their 5 or 10 day. Because it kind of just says the exact keto basics, right? So it's just explaining it at a more of a basic level so people can kind of understand. So that's something. I wouldn't send keto basics to somebody who's been doing a ketogenic diet for 2 years and now wants to try a supplement. They already got the keto basics, right? So you're really trying to make sure you're sending something for each person. So the keto basics is your referrer code .proveitnow.com / and you know what, and I'll put this in our communication thing, keto-basics / so I will put that in the thing, keto basics. So if we utilize our website a lot, there's the Keto U link. So sometimes when somebody asks me a question, I send them the Keto U link that Dr. Andy's answering all those questions. So it saves me a ton of time in trying to explain their question. So if somebody asks me, what's the difference between ketosis and ketoacidosis? I will send them I'll say, there's a huge difference. Here's Dr. Andy. She's a naturopathic doctor from Toronto, been doing a ketogenic diet for over 15 years. She's also added the supplement to her clinic. She's answered that question here. Just click play. It's just 3 or 4 minutes and she can explain it. They're going to trust that answer more than mine anyway. And it saves me way more time than trying to like spew it all out. And then there's a whole bunch of other questions she's answered that they might want to see. Brian and Dr. Andy video. Did anybody see there's a video that's Brian and Dr. Andy, and it's like they're in like a news, it's like they're being interviewed on a news channel. I don't know what the news channel is, but it's a girl asking them and they're talking about the supplement and how it's growing. Anyway, I will find that link, but that's a good thing to send people. Mary Newport, there's a ton of YouTube videos, and I'm going to try to find the list so we can like have it in one spot so you can just pick and choose. If somebody's asking you a ton of questions about what to eat, make sure that they know they don't need to go like crazy keto. But if they're just looking for some ideas, dietdoctor.com, add them to our Fresh Start for Better, right? There's those type of things. And then we also have a ton of articles. I can't even remember what they're called, like it's not salt's fault or something like that. But we can get those links and then we can send them the link of exactly for a bunch of other things. So that is my goal, is to try to, so I started writing it down exactly what the things are. So I've got, I think 5 or 6 in a Word document started, and I'm going to keep adding it. And once I get at least like 10, so people can get an idea of what to shoot people. But if somebody's like contemplating and then they're getting information, or they're drinking it and they're getting information, when they start realizing the power of ketones, this energy is not like drinking a coffee. Like this is cellular energy. It's doing lots of things. So sending those things will really help. Oh yeah. So, and also while people are drinking it and you're talking to them, if you know that their main goal is fat loss, take this out of the box and say, besides fat loss, what benefits would interest you, and list off all of them, right? So that they can really be in tune with everything. Because a lot of people, if their only goal is fat loss, they aren't really going to be in tune with all those other things. But if they really start thinking and they're like, oh yeah, I am sleeping better, and I did have a lot more energy, but I just thought it was because the sun was out today or whatever. You know how people really just don't kind of pay attention? So really get down and deep with that. So now I'm going to talk about what the company talked about was our DNA. So this can honestly be we're talking about DNA as a promoter. So this can honestly be your DNA for whatever. So if you think about like a highest athlete in whatever. So say, I'm really bad at giving up with examples tonight, but like say an Olympian in whatever sport. So I was just watching the Winter Olympics. So a snowboarder in the Winter Olympics, their DNA is a lot different than majority of people, because majority of people, they want to be really good at snowboarding, but they fall a few times, and right, they make excuses why they can't be an Olympian. The Olympian that actually hits it, nothing shakes them. Okay, so this is your DNA. So if you really want to be the best promoter, like, you know what I mean, like really excel at this, you need to have all of these aspects of a DNA. So I'm going to quickly read them over. So your desire, your belief, your commitment, your competence, your EQ, and your contribution. So your desire. So I wrote down people that are in our Prove It community that resonate with me for that item. So desire. Dustin Schaefer, I had him down as his desire. When I met him at breakfast the one morning, he was just like, he said, there's not one person on this planet that will not benefit from drinking ketones. Like that, there's nothing, like he is positive. His desire to help as many people as possible is through the roof. And he was just like, I want everybody drinking this. Everybody needs to drink this, right? So he's just so high. So your desire for your goals, your compelling vision, your enthusiasm, and I wrote down to help as many people as you can, because that's like my goal is to help as many people as I can, whether or not it's promoter, customer, and just like I like helping people at the gym, at the YMCA, and what, right? Like, so my desire is to help as many people as I can. So my belief. So we've all heard it, so I'm not going to go on a lot. Like, I know a lot of us have been on a lot of the trainings, but belief in yourself, the company, and the industry. I didn't get it until LCD, and we did it at Keto Academy and more, and I went to 2 of those, and we did it a little bit at Epic, not a lot, but we did touch on it. But literally, it's not just like belief, like, oh yeah, I think I could do this. It's belief. Like when I talked to Jessie Lee Ward, we did a 3-way role play, and I was telling Susan about it afterwards. So Jessie Lee's, guess what her goal is? And she knows she's going to hit it. Her goal is to make $1 million a month and be the first woman in network marketing to hit that goal. And she's like, and I'm going to do it, and I'm not stopping until I do it. But she is like, the belief in herself is so real, where a lot of us are like, yeah, I think I could do it. And then 5 people say no to me. And then I'm like, well, maybe I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like, our belief is maybe not as like strong as Jessie Lee Ward. And I'm not everybody on the call is like that, but I'm just saying, right? Like, a lot of us can get shaken and maybe not have that belief, or something happens with the product and then all of a sudden we don't have belief and prove it, or something happens with the industry, like, you know, and then we don't have belief in it for that day. So you really, if you don't believe in any of those things, it's going to be very, very hard to do this business. Commitment. So I had wrote down Keto Mom as commitment. So because she does a Facebook Live every day, she posts 3 or 4 posts every day. Her commitment every single day, consistency, commitment. So those snowboarders on the Olympics, they don't just snowboard on Sundays when they got an hour. They are committed every day to doing it. So you really have to be fully committed. Competence. So the thing about competence is your skills and stuff is we can all get skills, right? We all have the capability. We might not have them today. Like, I might not have the skills to do certain parts of this company, but that's why I go to Keto Academy, why I go to more, why I go to LCD, is so I can get those skills so that I can get better and have a stronger DNA, right? So always like reach out to me, reach out to whoever enrolled you, whoever it is that you think has that skill that you need to work on. So the competence, so it was your building blocks, your approach. So competence, you can also get it through listening to those Prove a Pulse calls, getting on our Facebook Live, like Dr. Heather, Dr. Andy, all those things, doing the keto reboot, doing the things to really get that so that you understand how it works. It's crazy, and I know, Natasha, my 2 keto reboots, I don't know about Susan, were very different. So it's not always the same. So it's good to do it every time so you can see, like, when a customer emails you and says, like, I couldn't get off the toilet all weekend. We have to be able to help them through that and give them the benefits of why. If you don't know why, message your upline, post it on Kicking It With Ketones, whatever, find out why that might be, but right, because that would be your skills and training. So we none of us know everything, right? So we all need to kind of help each other and build each other to get our competence higher. EQ is your emotional intelligence. So Susan, you might need to help me with this. He explained it, but it's a little hard. But basically, our emotional intelligence is, do we get emotional very easy? So an example could be, I could say to Susan, man, Susan, you look awesome today. And that could trigger Susan to be like, does Karen think I look terrible every other day? You know what I'm saying? Like, some people, like, and other people be like, oh, perfect, thanks. And I would lift them up, and somebody else, I could push them down. And another thing, like, so an emotional trigger. So for me and Darren could be like, Karen, I hate that you keep leaving socks on the floor. And I could be like, it's my side of the bed. That could be my trigger to get pissed off at him when really I shouldn't be leaving my socks on the floor. And I do, I admit that. But where we just get triggered sometimes on things that we don't need to get triggered on, right? So one of the things, like, I'm just like, Susan, can you think of another example? I mean, I can think of a ton. I just don't want to I don't want to trigger anybody. Can you think of one that's?
Well, what I wrote down was a little bit more detailed, because this is a weakness of mine. I'm a very emotional person, always have been. And you're the same thing that's one of your greatest strengths can also be one of your greatest weaknesses. So he's talking about, if somebody says, this stuff doesn't work, it's just a bunch of garbage, like, you can have a reaction instead of a calm response. So your goal is to respond, not react. So usually if you get an emotion associated with that, you're going to react rather than, engage your brain, control your emotions so you can respond in a better manner. And he said that anytime you think or say, or someone else around you thinks or says, I'm upset because, that means you've been triggered. Because that phrase, I'm upset because, means that you have made a connection to something in your past as a child, believe it or not, that set up a pattern, a reaction from you. And so every time you think or say, or someone around you thinks or says, I'm upset because, you've been triggered, which means you're now operating on a lower level of energy and you're reacting rather than responding. And so his technique was to stop, take a breath, and calm yourself down, and then respond on how to solve the problem, not what your emotional reaction is. So I made a lot of notes.
Right. I know.
Because it's my weakness.
Well, I do think, and I do think I want to do the pyramid, the Bermuda Triangle, another call. So, so we'll get into that another night, and it will really, I think, help, especially us talking to one another. But that was great. Like, thanks. Because so Nicole Beers, we did a call with somebody a week or two ago. I wish I would have had that call after LCD, because I would have rocked it even better. But anyway, so when somebody comes to you and says, oh, well, I found another product on the market, it's way cheaper, and it's the research. I was quick to be like, not triggered, but I was like, no, our product is the best, right? But I should have been more, just a second, I'm going to press stay for free. Something wrong with my computer. So I should have been more like, oh, really? I'd love to see that research. Can you send it to me? I'd like to learn more about it. Gotten it, and then found out about it, and then been able to respond back with, oh, right? So it would have really, because then he would have been like, oh, she wants to know, and it would have changed it. Do you see how, for Nicole, that could have helped him? That's how Dustin Schaefer and those guys said to deal with it. So if somebody comes to you and says, I've got research that your product causes liver damage. Oh, really? Okay, I'd love to see that. Please send it to me. Don't get triggered and get pissed off at them and that, because then it's really going to ruin that relationship. So your emotional intelligence for everything. So the better you are self-control, you're just going to be more productive, because you're not going to always be going down that rabbit hole of, right? You're just going to be more centered in things. It's not in everything. It is fine to be emotional, right? It's just when it's not needed in certain situations, right? If that makes sense. Yeah, so your DNA, so really kind of working on your emotional intelligence, having self-knowledge, self-control, rational skills. And so then the last thing was contribution. So as your DNA, the more you contribute, the stronger your DNA. So, and they were talking about the contribution. So I wrote down Rob DeBoer and Dr. Heather, because they are doing a lot with contributing to our Keto Reboot community for really no gains. They're doing our Facebook Lives. They're helping all of our customers, and we're not under any of them, but they are just contributing to our keto community. So the more, and so in contributing, it doesn't mean you have to contribute in keto world. You can contribute, you can go and volunteer at, like I volunteer at the YMCA. I'm contributing to the town of Bridgewater by volunteering at the YMCA. I like to do that. I love it. I come home and I feel good about the people I help that day. So you can be contributing for whatever. It could be just like right before Christmas. It could be when you know what I mean? But contributing to your community. So you're educating, building teams, giving back through local environments. So your DNA. So if you have a really strong desire, right? So you want this and nothing's going to stop you. Think of those Olympians, those people, like the people like top in their field. They have a desire. Nobody's going to tell them any difference. They have the belief in themselves, their industry, their company, right? And I forgot to mention about network marketing and that when it comes to belief. If you really have a disbelief that it's not a good industry, it's very hard to attract other people and honestly from your heart that this is a great industry. So a great commitment, right? Competency, emotional intelligence, and contribution. So we have 6 minutes left. I don't know, I hope that kind of makes sense. So it just is really when you get to the conferences, sometimes when we come back and share it, it sometimes maybe seems a little like, oh, everybody's drinking the Kool-Aid, they're doing whatever. But it honestly is, and it doesn't matter what it is. It does not matter if it's Prove It or whatever you're doing in your life. If you have all of those things and whatever you want to strive for, you can do it. So I know and I would really like to, I've reached out to some people. It's really hard. I don't know who's what with where they want to go with their business. But honestly, message me and I guess all the answers. So message me and we can kind of go through. I'd love to help everyone, and I am slowly getting through my list. It's been crazy. So I am gonna get to everyone. So let's just see. What was your question, Susan? Sorry, I don't know where my mouse. Oh, here it is. There was something. My book was on top of my mouse. That's why I couldn't press my thing.
I just answered a question about where to find the keto basics, which is
okay.
in the American site has a section that we don't have in Canada, which is under a Learn tab.
Okay,
well, videos. That's what the keto basics is, isn't it?
Yeah. So I do. You guys are going to see my messy screen. I'm going to share screen just so everybody can see all this. So I think I can do it to this one. So if I go to, so can everybody see this? Is that a yes or no? Sorry, I can't see
yes.
you. Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, I had my screen up. I couldn't see you. So
yes.
This is when whoever you're sending your link to, if they're in Canada, send them the Canada link. If they're in the United States, send them the United States link. If they're in Australia, whatever, you can sell to any country that we operate out of. So that's that. So when we're in the United States, we have a Learn tab. So that Learn tab, so Keto U, this has all those questions, okay? So you can go through and you can watch them yourselves. Most of them are only 2 to 3 minutes long. You can click up here, and I click Command Copy. I don't know how you can double click and right click and click Copy. And then does everybody know how to go copy paste? I think everybody does, but I don't know. I was gonna open up Facebook, but I don't want everybody to see all my messages. So that's Keto Basics. There's the research. So you could send the research tab to them. This is the Dr. Dom video. There's a Dr. Andy video. Down here is a bunch of more articles. So there's like improving insulin. So if somebody is a diabetic, you could click that. It comes up with another thing. You can click here, double click it, click, right click it, click copy, and then go to your messenger and right click and click paste and send them that like individual article. You can go into any of these, right? So whatever it is, and send them individual articles. And so what was the Keto Basics again? For me,
it's a blog.
It's in the blog. I always go ketobasics.com. And so then this is the Keto Basics. So it's basically what are ketones, what is ketosis, what are the benefits, weight loss, blood sugar, additional benefits, migraines, neuroprotective, autism, mood, strokes, right? Exogenous, so external, when we drink ketones, that's exogenous ketones. When we do it with the diet, it's endogenous, it's internally made. So that's the difference. So I hope just a second, let me widen this again. Oops. Now I can't get back to my regular screen. I have to stop sharing. So I don't know, I don't know if that helps, but and so maybe we should do one on, we'll do another Zoom call on really a lot more, because I was talking to somebody the other day, and she said, Karen, I don't know what you mean when you say macros. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I had been talking to her, and I was like, because she was a promoter, I honestly assumed that she knew that, which I shouldn't assume that. But so we could do one that's more of a basics on ketones, so drinking them versus the diet and why it's so hard and all that kind of stuff. We have 1 minute left. I'm so sorry. Here we go. I hope that was good. I hope it helped. I will record it so we can put it in the thing. Thank you. Yeah, so I think we just keep doing these and kind of going through. The more we learn, the easier it does get, and the better you'll be able to talk with confidence to other people, and then that will just help your business grow. So any feedback, comments really quick?
Awesome, Karen. Thank you.
Thanks. Awesome. Okay, well, that was good. I'm glad that worked out. So we're just going to,
Good job.
I was thinking of maybe just picking Sunday night and Thursday night or something, and just trying to get a few out, and then maybe eventually we'll go to one again. But just to try to really get this education piece up will be huge for us. So
That'll be good.
awesome. And then we can always record it. I know everybody's busy, but it is nice to get on, because then you can ask questions and you can be a part of the community.
Yes.
So, awesome.
Awesome. You're awesome.
Thank you.
You guys are too. So awesome. Thanks.
All right. All right.
You guys have a great night, and we will talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Karen. Bye.
Bye.